Hey everybody, it's Melissa. As always, I'm going to be giving you my top 5 favorite fragrances for the month of November. In 2023, I can't believe I only have one more to do for this year because this is the first year that I've done one every single month, because I think I started this series around 2021 or 2022, like maybe March, April, something like that. All right. So as always, discount codes, discount links are going to be in the pinned comment section below if you want to support the channel. If not, please just buy where you're comfortable. All right. In 5th place is Oudwood by Tom Ford. And y'all, I can't shake this fragrance. Now, to me, this isn't my favorite scent of all time, but to me, it means a lot when there's a fragrance that still hangs on for dear life and still gets my attention the way that this scent does. Because there are a lot of other scents, or a few other scents, I should say, that ever since I smelled them, I'm just using them on repeat, right? But whenever I smell Oudwood again, I get very nostalgic with the scent. And if you've been subscribed to my channel, then you used to hear me gush about this fragrance nonstop. And it's kind of like, how do I say it? You remember the Olympics? I think the Redeem team, right? When they were playing Spain or something like that. And even though Team USA won, Spain was still keeping up. They still were not able to shake the team completely, right? That's kind of how I feel about Oudwood, is that it's not the front runner, but it's always still there and it still always gets my attention. And honestly, I just love it. This was actually the first oud fragrance that I fell in love with, because before this, I tried other oud scents. They smelled like a barnyard. I'm like, why would anybody want to smell like chicken shit? You know what I mean? That was just my association with it, trying a bunch of niche fragrances. But when I tried Oudwood, I was like, dang, this thing smells good. It doesn't even smell like oud. Till this day, I don't really think this is a heavy oud fragrance by any means, but it's the likable oud that anybody around you that will smell it will enjoy it. All right. I think this thing will probably get shredded up on fragrance forums. If you're in a Facebook group or something like that with people only into niche scents, then they're probably going to call this basic and say that everybody wears it, when that's just really not the case. And of course, you also have to take into consideration the place that you live, right? And how many, not how many people around you are wearing fragrances, but how often you smell fragrances in general. So I always tell y'all to be cautious. Whenever people say something is basic and overrated and overdone, remember that the internet does not translate to real life, all right? So Oudwood, amazing fragrance. And I have worn this in the daytime as well. I actually prefer wearing this when it's around 70 to 75 degrees outside. I find it better than the nighttime sort of smell of it, because the way that this pops off on my skin when it heats up a little bit is just, it's my favorite version of the fragrance. So when people tell you, oh, it's only a nighttime scent, only a date night scent, I would say try it, see if you like it in other temperatures. If you don't, then, stick to it for night if that's your thing. All right, in 4th place. Wow, this one kind of fell. It's falling a little bit on my ranks. It's Aqua Oud by Precious Liquid. Now, when I say it's falling, of course, this is still a top 5 video, but the other 3, it's been nonstop this month. All right, Aqua Oud, just look at the juice of it. All right, it's still near the top, and for very good reasons. Typically, when people see something that doesn't really look like a dent, they don't bat an eye at it. But when it comes to fragrances like this that only need 1 to 2 sprays, of course, at least for me, you're not gonna see it running down fast. In comparison to my Elysium that I could spray over 10 sprays of and I'll be fine, right? So with Aqua Oud, I only do 1 to 2 strictly. And what I love about this fragrance is that it's a good transitional scent and it fits with every single season. Even if you live in the most humid, the hottest place in the world, it'll still smell really good. And then if you live where it's cold and you want that nice fresh fragrance that's gonna carry, literally will last all day, then you go for Aqua Oud. And this is a unisex fragrance. And the oud here, and this is the same perfumer actually. Maybe there's the correlation with this, because I know that Richard Herpen was the perfumer for Oudwood, and he is the owner of Salt and Pepper. So a lot of the oud fragrances that he does, I really like. For some reason, my nose likes what he does. All right, but anyways, Aqua Oud is just, how do I say it? It's a lovable fragrance, but it still has that sort of complex undertone. It still has that smell that when you wear it around other people, it's not going to be familiar to them. It will kind of get them curious where they're like, ooh, like, what is that? Because they're not used to smelling oud. On top of that, they're not used to smelling good oud. So it's something that stands out, and it's something that's likable. And it's just like overall, again, a beast in performance. We are talking over 10 to 12 hours of performance with minimal sprays, like with 1 to 2 sprays of this scent. I have tried doing this like 5 sprays. I mean, I didn't get nauseous or anything like that, but it was too much for me. I was like, yeah, I gotta tone this down a little bit. Because the way that I like to wear fragrances is, well, I like to smell them on myself, right? But if other people smell them on me, I don't want to be the person that walks into the room and every single person smells me. I'm not trying to get everybody's attention with my fragrance. But if we're interacting, if we're having a conversation, and my scent is just kind of like wafting in your general direction, or if I walk by you and you just get a little bit of that scent trail and it gets your attention, to me, I like that better than just dousing yourself in a fragrance, dousing myself in a fragrance. But overall, this thing has been a massive compliment getter, both from men and women. I will say in particular with women in general, they have just been loving this. And if you remember my summer videos with this fragrance, it was nonstop. Like, this fragrance to me is honestly, how do I say it? It's the perfect blend for niche heads that want to wear something that is, how do I say it? Like, that want to still wear like a niche fragrance around their friends that are not into fragrances like them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll please both demographics, in my opinion. That's just been my personal experience. But as always, fragrance is subjective. So of course there's going to be people that hate it. There's going to be people that love it. That's just the way it is. In third place, literally making a comeback, Salt and Pepper by Precious Liquid. Because you know what? I've been on TikTok live pretty often this past month, just to kind of catch up, see how people are doing, right? And I get a lot of questions about Salt and Pepper, or not about Salt and Pepper. I get questions of, what is the sexiest fragrance that I can get that women want? And I always mention, like, every single video you see Salt and Pepper, that's the one thing I say to y'all, right? I'm like, do not get Salt and Pepper if you're not hanging out with women. Like, if you're not a social person around women, or just you don't have a lot of women in your social circle, whatever, just don't get it. Because if you're a guy, you probably won't really enjoy it as much. There's just something about this that the female nose just gravitates to, like, instantly sort of falls in love with. And you've seen my videos on this. I've literally not shut up about it for months on end, to a point that people are getting irritated with me just mentioning this. But it's like, that's how you know when I like something, y'all, is it has that consistency. And I would rather have the consistency than to just make videos of, oh, these are my favorite scents, but they're totally different fragrances than the last video I put out. You know, I'm not going to be showing you new fragrances every video just so, like, my thing doesn't get stale. I want y'all to really see what I'm rocking with and what I'm not, which is the point of this whole entire series. But Salt and Pepper is a peppery fragrance with some ambroxan. The big question I get is, does it smell like Sauvage? Because people will look at the Fragrantica notes and compare. And honestly, to me, it does not smell like Sauvage. I think whenever people throw around Sauvage or Creed Aventus, they only use those comparisons when there is a likable fragrance, like a likable blue fragrance or a likable pineapple fragrance. And of course, when you think pineapple or you think blue scent, you automatically think Aventus and then Sauvage, right? So, but I don't think that when you smell Salt and Pepper, I don't think when you smell Salt and Pepper, you'll be like, oh, that's a Sauvage clone, you know? And on top of that, with my experience with women that I know that have always smelled Sauvage, specifically the EDT and the EDP concentration, they would have definitely pointed it out to me if they thought I was wearing Sauvage. But in fact, it was an opposite sort of reaction. They were like, ooh, what are you wearing? That smells so good. Like, a lot of nose to the neck sort of reactions, asking me what the name of the fragrance is. So to me, that justifies it not smelling like Sauvage, at least on my skin, because that definitely would have been pointed out if I gave them a hug and they're like, are you wearing Sauvage? That would have been the first thing that I was met with, because they know that fragrance the back of their hand. Because a lot of guys in the area that I live, that's the most popular fragrance, with just like not even just with guys, like in general, like women know Sauvage, guys know Sauvage. It's just literally everywhere when you see a guy passing by you, right? So salt and pepper, the fact that it wasn't something when people smelled it, when women smelled it, they thought it was Sauvage, that none of that happened. All right. So this thing was my baby. I really haven't spoke about it in a minute, but I have been wearing it again this month. And the way that this fragrance has kind of matured in my collection, like it smells even better than I remember it. And I was in love with this scent. And then again, I was wearing it the other day and I'm like, this is sexy. This is a sexy fragrance to me. Like if we were to compare Aqua Oud, right? This is more of like, it's a likable kind of complex scent, right? But this is a sexy scent. That's straight up what it is. Again, sexy to women. And I always put that asterisk there because that's just been my experience with it. All right. In second place, my most used fragrance, Elysium. This is the Parfum Cologne, the blue bottle. Look at the juice. Look at the juice. And I do have a tendency to overspray this fragrance when I do wear it, because whenever I wear it, typically it is like for the whole day, right? So I will spray some, like if I'm only going out for a little bit, maybe like 5 to 7 sprays. But if I'm going out all day, it will be over 10 sprays of this fragrance and it will last on me. Now, the downside to Elysium for a lot of other people is that they don't think it performs well. But on my skin, I do notice this between 5 to 6 hours, and people still compliment me afterwards. Even though I go nose blind to the scent, I still receive compliments on it when I'm around other people. So I know that it's still lingering on me. And that is something that I would say just be aware of, is just because you can't smell your fragrance doesn't mean it's no longer there. All right, so you can always ask somebody you trust, somebody that it's around you, like, hey, can you smell my fragrance? Can you still smell me? If they say no, then, think back to, all right, how many sprays of this thing did I do? Okay, it is a fresher scent. I can do more of it. And just adjust your sprays based on how weak a fragrance is, how strong it is, and the environment you are going into. But on my skin, this is a lemon pineapple cocktail scent. And on other people, just like note-wise, I believe it's a grapefruit juniper berry scent. But again, I get more of the first one that I mentioned. Now, in first place, literally, this fragrance has blown them all out this month. I have used this thing so much, like so much. It's Sauvage Elixir. All right, and I called it too, y'all. If you watched the video that I did when, I don't know if it was actually on TikTok or something like that, but I've mentioned Sauvage Elixir and I said, this will be my #1 scent for November. I just know it because I am addicted to this scent. And I only do one spray on the back of my neck because this is a beast. It's like these two fragrances out of everything that I've mentioned, best performance. All right. So you don't even have to do 3 sprays of Sauvage Elixir. It will still carry. Trust me. Now, this one is a masculine fragrance for sure. Right. And this is my favorite concentration personally of the Sauvage line. Now, I will say the one I recommend the most will be the EDP if you really do like Sauvage, just because it's more versatile and it's well-rounded and it's pretty smooth, right? Like, regardless of what people say about it being worn a lot or when people use the word overrated, I think that the smell is still good. The performance for the EDP is still good. And if you don't really care about popularity of it, then absolutely wear it. It's popular for a reason, right? But the Elixir to me it's just my favorite. It has like a little bit of like a pine tree, like a Christmas tree sort of smell in the back of it. It still has that Sauvage-ish DNA, but then it takes a little bit more of a turn, a little bit more of like a darker turn, a more mature, not darker. It's more mature, right? So I'll get questions from people saying, hey, I'm 18 or I'm 17, I'm 16. Should I get Sauvage Elixir? And to me, I think the other Sauvages are better, like the EDT and EDP for the younger crowd, but I think that this is more of like a grown person scent. Like if you are in your late 20s and up, then the Elixir smells great. When I smell this scent, I'm not thinking, oh yeah, this is a teenager fragrance. In comparison to smelling something like Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce, I'm like, yeah, this is a teen scent for sure. Doesn't mean other age demographics can't wear it. Of course they can. but it reminds me of being a youthful scent. This to me doesn't scream youthful, but I just know it's popular because it's a Sauvage, so a lot of the younger crowd will try to gravitate towards it. But I think that this scent smells better on adults personally, all right? But I made a video on this thing recently. This is my scent of the day today. And y'all would have gotten annoyed with me this month if I did a scent of the day every single day. And maybe that should be something I do for December. Just like every day I'll do a scent of the day short on here. But I will bet money that by like the 5th or 6th one, people are going to be like, oh, surprise, surprise, it's Elixir. You know what I mean? They're going to start getting irritated. But who cares? Maybe I'll actually do that. And also, I did this poll on Instagram because I'm going to Scent Explore, literally this coming week. And Scent Explore is like this big niche convention. It's going to be in New York, right? And I was like, you know what? Should I wear Sauvage Elixir to this event? Because, and like I said that as a joke, right? And I had people vote on it. And people said, yes, I should. And the options were, yes, you should, or no, go for something niche, right? And it was maybe like 51 to 49% of a point differential over there. But I think it would be interesting because you could tell at this Scent Explore event, people are going to be trying to stunt with their niche perfumes, right? With like an Amouage or a Sershoff, something like that, right? And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will roll in with Sauvage Elixir. But y'all let me know what you think in the comment section below. There it is, my top 5 favorite fragrances for November 2023. Let me know what your top 5s were in the comment section below. And again, discount codes, discount links for these also going to be pinned. All right. I hope y'all have a great day. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye.